Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Share the Tea Tuesdays. It is your girl V, and I have a special guest, very special guest, and you'll find out why later. But a very special guest with me today, Tishley.
Hi, how are you?
I am wonderful. How are you doing?
Great, great. Busy and great all the time.
I know. Busy and great all at the same time. Now,
Yeah.
now let me just do a little check in. Is it cold where you are? Because
Oh, it's beyond cold. It
oh,
was in the teens
mm.
until today. It just moved up to the 20s.
Oh, okay. We're in the 20s. We're getting a little closer.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Warm.
I
Yeah.
hate winter, so I hate it all.
Oh, I don't blame you. I do not do well with
No.
low temperatures at all, and then it makes you want
No.
to be in the bed all the time. So I can a bed and a blanket. So Tishley, you are um, a person with many talents. I mean, there's so many. I don't know how many I can list. I'm gonna try to list all of them, but I want to say for one, you are a motivator. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and just to give you a little bit of history, guys, like where did you meet her? I met her at our national church convention in St. Louis. My first
Yeah.
time going to St. Louis, Church of the Living God National Brotherhood Convention, and
Mm-hmm.
it was the women's work, and she was a speaker. Listen, I don't think I could record as much as I tried because at the while you got to put the phone down and forget trying to save it. But
Right.
honey, you delivered all of that, all of it.
Oh,
Oh
praise God. It's absolutely all him.
yes, most definitely, most definitely. And so that goes into the next part that you are a preacher or prophetic preacher that's listed
Mhm.
there.
Yes.
And so how long you been preaching?
I have been preaching about 20 years now.
Wow,
Hmm.
20 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely. I wouldn't have known. I wouldn't even guess that long, but 20 years. Oh my
Yes,
goodness.
I started early.
Well, hey, when you have that calling, I know you have to answer that. And
Yes.
it's a daily journey regardless of what we're going through and what you're going through and just being able to stay in line of what God has given you and given that
Absolutely.
task for you to do, definitely. So
Hmm.
another one is that you're an author.
I'm an author.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. I'm trying. It's so many. I keep telling y'all. It's like
Uh,
how many commas can you borrow?
my exhaustion proves it.
Definitely. So what type of books have you written? And let me see
So,
where can I find these books? Because I need to get one of those.
so I actually wrote my first book and the only one so far. I'm sure there's more to come, but I wrote it a couple years ago, maybe not quite 2 years ago. I don't think.
Okay.
Um, but it's not all biography. I kind of combine self help with parts of my testimony story of going through public divorce and just rebuilding my life from the depression and the everything that transpired in that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so I waited several years to make sure that I was healed and well and writing it from a good, healthy space. And so that's what it's about. It's not just about, divorce and marriage and relationships. It's really tools for women to be whole emotionally. That's my whole thing. That's what my motivation
Mm.
ministry is about. I minister mostly to women for emotional wellness, wholeness, recovering from emotional trauma, hurtful things that break us, including relationships and marriage, divorce, all of those things. So
Right.
that's what the book is about. It's available on my website at tishleyjanine.com. And it's also on Amazon. It's called He Left, But I Lived.
Mm. Wait. I like that. Left, but I live. Oh, listen. I don't know about you guys, but have you ever heard a title and you just like, whoa, that's a lot within just that title. He left, but I lived. Oh yeah.
Hmm.
So you go to her website, and she's gonna say it again before this segment is over. But also look it up on Amazon.
Yes. And
Okay.
if my name shows for you guys that are watching, it's myname.com.
Okay. There you go. Easy peasy.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So I have a now. How long did it take for you to write that book? I know you said you waited until you were in a heal place and
Hmm.
you were able to process and get all that done. So, but how long did it take for you to complete it?
Woo, so the story, the short version of it is that I wrote the book twice, the same book,
The same book
because
twice?
I wrote it twice. I finished it the first time, and the last day I was doing the final edit. I went to my mother's to do some editing there since I was there just chilling out.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever happened from putting my flash drive in her computer and then getting back home and putting it in mine erased the entire thing. From my drive, from my flash drive, from my hard drive, everything. It was
What?
gone. I was so devastated, depressed for a few weeks. And I said, you know what? That's it. I'm not doing it. I thought this was you, God. I thought this was the time. I'm done. And I had some really supportive people saying, nope, you got to get back to this. Ultimately, God spoke to me and said, I did this for a reason. And I wrote it the second time. When I started writing it again, I was writing it from a different place even still. There were some different perspectives that made a big difference in the whole story. And so I was grateful in the end that he cared enough to make sure it came out with the right message and the right intent. So yeah, all together it was about 3 years because it was about a year and a half both times.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
And you know when God gives us that message, mm,
Yeah. I'm
mm,
thankful that he speaks to us because I was so angry and frustrated. Like, you had me do this, and
right.
now it's gone. And so he comforted me eventually, like, okay, now that you're done being upset, let me tell you why. And it made sense. And I was really thankful because even I could feel the difference in where I wrote it from the second time.
Oh wow. Oh yes, I have to get that book. Make sure you guys go and get that book. Right there. I just know that it's a great book and it's coming from a place of healing and also a place of wanting to share and help other people that are probably going through the same situation or similar um,
Absolutely.
issues that you faced because that
Yeah,
can be tough.
extremely tough. It divorce correlates so much with the grief that comes with death. And I always say the only difference is that people never check back on you after divorce. It's
Mm,
the same grief, but people are still kind of checking, still making sure you're good, but not with divorce. So you're left getting through the grief almost by yourself a lot
by
of times.
yourself. Yeah.
So that's what the book is to help, among other things, women who are going through tough relationships, breakups, heartbreak. It's the comfort of you're not alone. And let me tell you what helped me.
Hmm. I like that. Now, I like that phrase, you are not alone. I say that a lot.
Okay.
You are not alone because you
Yeah.
have to remind people you feel like you're alone when you're going through things, and you
Yeah.
sometimes you feel like why me? We know
Yeah.
we question that. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can even be surrounded by people and still feel absolutely alone when you're going through something.
Mhm.
So just those reminders that, hey, if you need me, I'm here. Like,
I'm
if you
here.
need to know that somebody else has been through it, I'm here.
I love that. I love that. That's a good point. Now I forgot one of the adjectives. Which one of the, okay, so we got motivator, author. Oh, did I miss one? Oh, the owner.
Divorce.
Yes, the owner. You're the owner of this phenomenal jewelry. Now, after she didn't gave this phenomenal epic speech, right? Sermon, however, whatever term you want to use to motivate and move the women.
Hmm.
The next thing I know, here's all this jewelry. And I'm like, oh, what is this? Let me
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
now okay, let me practice. Let me see. Okay. So she is the owner of eccentric bijou wait, bijouette. I messed it up. Wait.
Bijouterie?
Bijouterie. Okay.
Yes.
Bijouterie. Okay. I was trying to practice on it. I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, it takes some time. Don't worry. Everybody gets
Okay.
stuck the first few times, but it's actually a French word for jewelry and trinkets. So when I saw it, I was like, I want this.
Oh,
So
that was gonna be my question. Like, how did you create the name? But you
yeah,
you answered that. Okay. Okay. And definitely so you make all of your jewelry, bracelets, the whole 9 yards by hand.
it's all handmade. I do a lot of upcycling and I use a lot of vintage jewelry. So I like to refurbish and rehab uh pieces, antique pieces, things like that. And some are just from new stuff, but it is all handmade.
Okay.
So yep.
So now, did you just picked up this craft, or have you always been full of arts and talents and creative and
I have always been a creative. My brother and I both are extremely creative people, multifaceted people. I've always loved fashion and I've always had a lot of jewelry from everywhere. Whenever I travel, I would just get jewelry. I never thought anything about making it until the pandemic hit and I got laid off from my secular job. And
uh,
it was so God because I still wasn't thinking. I just kind of started praying, Lord, what am I going to do? We were all in a panic. Nobody knew anything when it first hit. And so I'm like, is my job done? When do I go back? And I had started, I found some bracelets at a little vintage thrift store in Nashville, Tennessee while I was on a vacation.
okay.
Found out they were handmade and I love them. So I had planned a trip that year, the November before COVID hit, my birthday. I was going to Nashville. I had saved up. I said, I'm splurging on as many of these bracelets as I can get. Got there, and the store was closed. And so the person I was with was like, well, maybe it's their lunchtime or whatever. We'll go around to some other places and come back.
You come back,
Come
yeah.
back. Yeah, they were still closed. So long story short, they were closed permanently. Like the owner had gotten into some trouble with drugs and they had closed
Oh,
it down. And I'm like, oh my God. So I came back home devastated. But one night I was sitting on my bed and I was looking at the bracelet I had it on, and the Lord just illuminated it to me, the details of it. And I thought, I can make this. Like I can do this. I didn't know anything about making jewelry. But I went to the store the next day and just he literally led me to a lot of the things that you would need to make jewelry. I didn't know anything. I just grabbed some pliers, I grabbed some wire, I grabbed a few beads. That
wow.
was it. Came home, started making a few things, watched some YouTube videos, and it just flourished from there into so much more than I ever imagined.
Oh my goodness. And didn't even know what to do or how to do it.
Didn't have a clue. It was so powerfully spiritual because God was literally leading me to the stuff in the store, like stuff I'd never pick up, like a sanding brush. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get it. I got it.
Right.
Only to find out that you really need that for a lot of things in making jewelry. It was just
Oh
so
my gosh.
I knew that it was him. I knew that it was something that was a part of, and it ties into my other motivational things. I tie them together because I've spent the last 20 years helping women heal and be beautiful on the inside. So now it's amazing to be able to add these accessories to highlight
Mm.
the outside.
Oh, I like that. Add the accessories to highlight the outside. I like that. So it's
Yeah,
really inside and out.
absolutely.
So did you so with you first making this bracelet, the replica of the bracelet that you wanted, how long did it take you to make that masterpiece?
You know what? It after I watched the YouTube, it didn't take me too long because it was a rather simple procedure. I had all the
Mhm.
stuff. Um, I tried it a couple times. The first couple were a little sketchy, but after doing it, I would stay up all night because I was so passionate about it that I would stay up all night. Didn't care if I had to go to work or anything. And so I mastered that bracelet pretty quickly because I'd get off
Oh
work and go
wow.
straight to my little jewelry station.
My little jewelry station, I like that. But that's your station though. You look, you have made that into a masterpiece.
Oh, I am
Definitely.
so amazed at what it has become. But the problem is that now it's taking over my entire house. So now I have to pursue a building.
Oh, wait, that's a good thing.
It
So
is.
if
It
you
is.
made so much jewelry, now you need a building. Oh,
Yeah. The supplies are the problem. I'm addicted to the supplies as much as I am to the finished product. I'm like, don't you buy another bead. Don't go back to the craft store until you use everything you have.
oh,
And then I go
oh.
to the
Well, especially when they have a sale going on. I mean,
hello.
I used to go to Hobby Lobby. I call it Uncle Hobby. I used to go to Uncle Hobby all the time, especially when they said a 50% off. I'll be
Yes,
there.
I love it. I love it. And then I like I said, I like thrifting. So I go to thrift stores all the time anyway, and I'm always seeing stuff there. And I'm like, I'm not gonna get it. Okay, just give me these two.
Okay, just get these two, and then that's it. So,
Yeah.
do you just get your beads and I guess your materials just from anywhere, or do you have a certain place that
Um,
you
I
go?
I other than like thrift stores and little
Hmm.
antique shops, I like finding really unique stuff. I like it to be unique,
Okay.
creative stuff that not everybody's going to be able to have. So, but I do use Amazon. I do have a few specific vendors that I use now, but early on, I just get it wherever I could find it.
Wherever you can find. Okay.
Mhm.
But now you've evolved.
I have evolved. Yes,
And when you evolve, you have so many things that you're kind of like, don't know if I'm
yeah,
coming or going.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
so with the midst of starting a business during pandemic, launching a business, and now was it 3 years later, your business has exploded. What do you think is the most um, genuine feeling from that, especially when we're going through this pandemic phase? Because that was a rough time for a lot of people.
hmm Um, it was and is very rewarding to see where it started and how it started and see what I built.
Hmm.
There's that sense of accomplishment that I built this with
Hmm.
my hands. It's something that I make, that I do. And then the more rewarding part is when people love the jewelry. Because it's like, so it just comes from me. It comes from my heart, my mind, my spirit. I see jewelry in everything. So, sometimes I use stuff that, like, I used Christmas ornaments for earrings. Um
That's cute.
so yeah. So when people are like, "Oh my God, I love it," that's absolutely rewarding for me because it's like, wow, they love something that I create. That's
Hmm.
an amazing feeling.
And I'm gonna let you guys know up front, you will not find this jewelry anywhere. Mm-mm. Nope. It don't matter if it's paparazzi, Claire's, J.C. Penney's, Dillard's, Macy's. You will not find this jewelry anywhere.
We
I'm just
definitely
letting you know.
strive for unique. I love, that's me. That's my style. I like to just express myself through my jewelry, my looks, my
Mhm.
clothes, my hair. And so I feel like I share that with others. And it's been interesting because there's a specific audience of people who really appreciate that.
Right.
It's not for everybody, and that's okay. That's with any business or anything that we do. But for those who, appreciate the craft of something that was made by hand, something you won't find everywhere, it really speaks to those people in particular. So, and I love that. I love finding the people who love that
De-
creativeness.
Definitely. Definitely.
Mhm.
Now, tell them the name of your jewelry business, the website of where they can go and order. And I'm gonna make sure I put it within the video so you guys can go and support.
It is Eccentric Bijouterie. That's the name of the boutique. And the website is eccentricbijouterieshop.com. And if you find me on social media, it's on my pages. I'm on Instagram at eccentric underscore bijouterie. And on Facebook, it's Eccentric Bijouterie Boutique.
Okay. And you guys need to go and support. Now she just had a sale not too long ago.
Whew.
Uh, there seems to be a little sale going on, but yes, that's not my business to tell. But I want you to go to that website. Go to the
Yeah.
website so that way you can check out her jewelry and just order something. Doesn't matter what it is. Trust me, you're going to love it. I know I bought like 3 or 4 pieces when I was in St. Louis. And every time I'm wearing it, they're like, "Oh, those are cute. Where did you get those from?" And I always say, "Well, it's called eccentric." And then I say, I
I'll have to make sure you have business cards.
Thank you. Because that's exactly what I said. It's called eccentric. And then I said boutique, but it's not boutique, but it's a jury. But this is the website. That's what I do.
There you go. As long as you have that, it's good.
It's good. Okay. And I'm gonna work on this French name. Trust me.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yep.
definitely, I mean, I tried to have something for everybody. I will say that I consider it more of a more luxury kind of brand. Um,
It
but
is.
I do try to make, you'll find something in there that I have lower end product and then I have the higher end product, and you'll find all of that on the website. So I try to make sure we cover everybody so that everybody can get something.
Everybody gets something. Now, do
Yeah.
you have like the clip-ons? Do you do the clip-ons? Or are they mostly for pierced earrings?
Right now, I do mostly pierced. I've had a lot of people inquire about clip-ons, so I
Oh,
have started looking into that as an option to offer that.
okay. Okay. Well, let me know when you do, because my mom wears clip-ons. So,
Sure
um,
will.
yeah, let me know because I'll have you a customer. Trust me, another
Yeah,
customer. Because
wonderful.
she loves some earrings, especially if like, oh, these are different. Look this. Yes.
Okay, I got her covered.
Okay, that's a deal. That's a deal.
Mhm.
So what is something with your other business? I'm about to mess it up, and I just saw it not too long ago.
The
Healed
motivation.
happy, yes, healed happy whole
Woman.
woman. Did I do
Hmm.
that right? All right.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Woo. So that has been my baby and my passion for the the 20 years that I've done ministry. I've also done that, and that
Okay.
started from when I was 21, I think. Um, my youth group. I was a youth pastor at my church, and I just had the vision to separate the girls. And we had just started the youth ministry, which that ended up growing into something so amazing and just a huge ministry.
Wow.
But I separated the girls, started with 8 girls. We just started meeting, having separate meetings from the boys, and it took off. By within a year, I had about 50 girls who came weekly to our meetings, and we would talk to them about health and hygiene and self-esteem and confidence. And I was so proud of that because in about a 10-year span, we had 0 teenage pregnancies out of that group. And I
Wow.
was so proud
That's
of that.
good.
So I did that for several years. And then as I got older, my life transitioned, got married, um, it started shifting. And then I went through the divorce and all of that in my marriage, and that's when it really blossomed into what it is today. But I didn't know, I wasn't initially trying to minister to women, but women were watching me endure the pain of what I was going
Mhm.
through from a distance. And they started reaching out to me eventually. Like, how did you do it? My husband's leaving. I'm getting a divorce. How did you maintain? I saw you go through. And from there, I started going live on Facebook, just doing different topics every week based on my experience. And then I started hosting a conference for women. And the very first one, it was for women and girls. We had classes and everything for both women and adult, I mean, girls and adult women. The very first conference, I mean, now this is just me being a local minister or whatever, there were about 300 attendees.
What? Three? Ooh.
Blew me away when I pulled up. Well, my girls, my who were helping me, were kept calling me on the way. I'm like, what is wrong? What is happening? And finally, they're like, there's so many people here. There's buses here with women. I'm like, what?
Oh my
So
God.
yeah, and from there, it just really got, this is purpose for me. The
Mhm.
ministry to women is purpose, and he allowed me to go through that pain, that devastation, but he carried me through it because he knew that the purpose on the other side of it was for me to be able to minister healing to women who needed it. So I've been so passionate about that for many, many years. That's probably forever going to be my heart.
Okay. Well, definitely. It most definitely needs to be. And so this started 20 something years ago.
Hmm.
And from my understanding, it's a 501c3.
Yes.
Okay. And so you're still managing and on and running that organization now,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes. And we uh, don't do as much as we did post pre-COVID.
Oh yeah.
But we did have our conference again last year, and I'm praying on it now about this year because it's so much work.
Oh, I know. I can remember. No, but where was the conference this past year?
It's here in Michigan. I
Mhm.
usually host it at my local church here,
Okay.
in Michigan. Yeah, but I post it on social media, and we bring in speakers. We have, sometimes it's 2 days, and sometimes it's just one day. But the last few years, it's been 2 days, a Friday night and a Saturday workshops and whatnot. So um, yeah, I'm prayerfully seeing what we're going to do for this year. God is transitioning some things and doing some new things. So I
Mm-hmm.
try to keep my ears open to when He says shift to
Yes.
something new.
Right. That's true. That's true. Well, I've never been to Michigan, so I'm gonna have to make sure that I keep my eyes open for this conference
Yes,
so I
yes.
can definitely come out. Do you try to have it like around the same time every year, or it just kind of depends?
Yeah, we usually do March
Oh,
of every year. Yep. So that works out great for us because in the summer people are vacationing and away, and then in the winter it's too cold and it's snow here. So March is usually that good middle ground where people are available, and it usually is amazing. It really is.
okay.
Not just because I'm hosting it, but the testimonies that come out of it, the lives
Mhm.
that we've seen impacted is just, God is amazing.
Well, March is a beautiful month, so it's a good thing that you're hosting March,
Must
and
be your birthday.
yes, yeah. But I'm definitely going to be on the lookout for that. And I think that that is so great. Your first one had 300 women. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would just be thrown. I'll be just, not thrown, blown. I would be blown away. Like,
yeah. I was that first time. I was just like, God, this is crazy. But it was the best feeling. It was one of the best feelings ever. I take it so seriously that people
mhm,
trust my voice, that they trust my wisdom, and I definitely don't take that lightly. I make every effort to live what I preach, what I teach, what I talk about. And so the rewards of that is that women trust me. I've
mm,
had women reach out to me with some of the most severe, devastating situations just to hear, the advice that I would give. And I'm so humbled and honored by that. And so I stay very prayerful because I don't ever want to give people just me, my opinion. I always want it to be something that's going to shift something for them in their hearts and in their minds to lead them into that wholeness.
I like that. I like that. And it's really good for us as women to have someone that we can um, relate to
Yeah,
in regards to just life in general.
absolutely.
Because sometimes we, and especially when you said you're reaching back to the youth, and throughout that 10-year period, you didn't have any teenage pregnancies. And right now, our youth, they look at the fast things and the glamorous things, and they want that, and they'll do whatever they can to get that. And so it's
Yeah,
really, really, really important for us to have like some really positive, wholesome role models,
yeah.
that are just genuine.
It's so important. It
Mm,
really is. And that's another because my heart is still with youth and teen girls. But I feel like if we can get women to be strong and healed and whole and recover, then we can help the next generation because mothers are so exhausted and they're depressed.
mm,
They're in abusive situations. So it's hard to be the example for the younger generation and for their daughters and nieces, and so it's kind of twofold. I
right.
probably won't go all the way back into youth ministry, but if I can get the adult women and even young adult women, because I deal a lot, young adult women are just drawn to me. So just showing them the way to be better for their daughters, um, it's necessary. It really is.
It is. It is. And definitely just to want better.
Yep.
Just don't settle for whatever you have or whatever's going on and feel like you can't get out of that. Don't
Yeah.
settle, but to want better. And not just for you, but for your children, your daughter, your sons, that
Hmm.
generation that you're creating. I mean, whoo, that speaks volumes. It really
Yeah.
does. And I
Yeah.
like that, the whole woman. I like
Yes.
that part because sometimes I know I'm not speaking for everybody, but we try to be superwoman
Hmm.
and we try to do so many different things.
Yeah.
And I'm even speaking to myself, and then we don't take care of ourselves like we need to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I say all the time, there's such a difference between being healing from things, past traumas, hurts, and being whole. They're different. It's not
Mm,
the same thing. Wholeness is that final piece where my soul is well, my heart is well, my mind is well. It doesn't mean perfection because things will still come. There may still be triggers for things, but it means that I'm well enough to know how to deal with those things in a healthy way when they do come up.
so wait, I'm gonna have to drink some water.
Okay.
I'm about to get some tears in my eyes in a minute. Hold on.
No problem.
When you said there's a difference between healed and whole, do we understand what that means?
I don't
Mm,
think a lot of women do. I don't think a lot of women do, because it also goes along with, I always say, with women, no matter what we're facing, what we're dealing with, where we are in life, if you ask us, hey girl, how you doing? We're going to say, I'm good.
Go, girl,
It,
hold
knowing
on.
that if someone
Hold on.
just,
Pause. Hold on. Hold on. Let me crack open this water. Excuse me while we take this commercial break, okay? Hold on. Did y'all hear what she said? When someone asks you, how are you doing? What do we say? I'm good. And you know you're not good.
and we know we're not, even if it's
Mm,
not major, even if we're just tired because we're doing so much in life, but we never, well, most times we don't give an honest, you know what, I'm tired today. It's okay to be in
mm,
that space and in that place. And when you are whole, you understand that it's okay for today to just not be my day.
right.
It'll be better tomorrow. I'll get back on my feet, but I can say it's okay for me to have this day that I'm not okay.
Mm,
Um, and that's wholeness. It's one thing to, you can say I'm healed, but that can just mean I'm over it because I don't think about it, I don't talk about it, I don't deal with it. I'm over it, but I'm not healed. The healing and the wholeness, that's the part that pushes us on over into being the best version of ourselves, for our families, for the next generation of women. So
mm. That's a
that's
mouthful right there. I love that. But that is so true. That is so true. And I like how you put everything in full circle because you can't do one without the other. I can't say I'm whole if I'm not healed and I'm dragging on baggage. I relate things to I'm a visual person, so I relate things to when we're holding on to trauma and past issues and stress and worrying, that it's like a weight that we're putting in our backpack.
hmm
And we put so many issues within this backpack that this backpack is heavy. It
yeah.
breaks us down. Our back is hurting. So when do you start to take off some of that stuff out of your backpack or out of your purse or however that you want to look, but it's still weight and it weighs you down. So if
Yeah.
you're not whole, if you're not healed, then you can't be whole. Girl.
Yeah. And when you talk about those weights, when you're getting ready to take a flight, if your bag is too heavy, it can't go, which means you don't get to go.
There you go.
Or either you got to let the bag go and go on to where you're supposed to go. And it's literally that way, emotionally, spiritually, mentally. If you got too much stuff, some ain't going to fit.
Mm, that's
So
it.
it comes down to, do you want to keep moving forward, growing, going? You got to let that baggage go.
No, let that baggage go. But that's the hard part.
It is. It is.
That's the
Sometimes
hard
it is.
part. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Sometimes.
that's the thing about my ministry too, is that I'm very real. I'm realistic. I don't like just throwing advice out there and making it sound like, oh, I made it through this and you can too, and it's just that easy. Every
Mm,
healing is an ongoing journey. Everybody's journey is absolutely different. How yours looks is completely different from how mine looks. But what we do is give each other tools. As long as I have the tools, I can work on my stuff my way. But I don't tell you, here's the tools, you gotta fix it like I fixed it. Nope. Here's the
right.
tools. Let's figure out how yours needs to work.
Mm, that's true. Because every tool works differently.
Yes,
Yes. And my perception is different than yours.
absolutely. Yep.
Yes. I like that. I like
Yep.
it. See, I told you guys y'all were in for a treat.
Oh, I'm honored.
I told you, but it's really good to have someone give you a different outlook on things. Um, because this year has went by very quickly.
Yeah.
And within this year, and I mean, I know a lot of things has happened in the other years, but within just this year alone, there's been a lot of issues and things that have come about that people are struggling with. And I think
Mhm.
it's more so is that we're seeing the struggle more, I guess I'll say more visual now, or more, it's more open. I may I put it like that then, to where we don't seem to understand what's going on. Like, well, why did this happen? Or why certain things going on like this? And then even some people, even some people tend to question, like, well, everyone says let's pray, and then they question, well, where is God? You know,
Yeah.
and God is still here.
Yeah.
He hasn't gone anywhere. It's us that is constantly moving and shifting and trying to duck and dodge of what we need to focus on and what we need to do. I don't know.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
just
You're so right. The enemy, our enemy, especially for those who are believers, Christians, he's always on his job.
hmm
And it is like he has literally launched an attack to distract us. And to cause the distractions cause us to only see what's wrong in life and all of the issues and all of the trouble. And we watch the news, and every day we fill ourselves up with all of this horrible news and sadness and devastation. And if you don't replenish yourself with some positive reinforcement and some, for me, Bible and worship and things that will pour back into you to lift you up from that space, it'll have you in a low place. And
mm,
if you're already dealing with depression and dealing with life being hard and dealing with heartbreak and all of these things, I mean, if you look at that, you're just compounding, you're just continuing to stack up trouble and distress. So self care, I'm so big on self care.
yes,
And for me, sometimes that just looks like I keep up on current things. I don't watch the news because I don't want to take all of that in, especially in seasons where my life is stressful.
right,
You
right.
have to use wisdom. You can't let people come bring their stuff and dump it on you, even if you're the strong person and you're the one people use for counsel. I've learned in mentoring women and girls, you have to know where you are. If I'm in a hard place, I'm gonna pray for you, and I may refer you on to someone else that I know is reliable to give you good advice. But self care is, I'm gonna take care of me by any means necessary.
By any means, yes, yes.
Even if it's just a 2 minute longer pause in the bathroom where it's just me in the quiet. Get it in wherever you can. Like, everybody can't take a 3 day trip somewhere. Take a trip to your backyard and sit out there if it's not cold like it is.
hmm
And just breathe. Listen to your heartbeat. Exhale. All of those things add up to take some of that pressure off of us so that we can remember, okay, I'm good. I got this.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I started this 60 days of mindfulness. Um, was this? This is December, so it was November 1st. I had to think for a minute. But in October, I think it was in the September, or it may have been September, October. I bought some mindfulness cards from Target,
Uh-huh.
and I just, I was just at first I was just using them at work every once in a while, and then I said, oh, wait a minute, I kind of like these, and I see, people need to really think about mindfulness because our mindset can be so corrupt at times where all we see is the negative stuff.
Yeah.
You can't seem to see any light or any hope or anything because we're so, all you see is the clouds and the
Mhm.
thunderstorms and all that. And so I said, you know what, let me do this 60 days of mindfulness. And so every day I was pulling the card, and sometimes you have to make them your own. So I was coming up with my own, just it just comes to me, and I just be like, okay, there you go.
Mhm.
And it was probably after day 35, I kind of got a little tired. And then I started to say, you know what, maybe like nobody's listening to these things. You know,
Mhm.
nobody's paying attention to these things. Just you can just stop. Don't even worry about them. And I said, no, 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 no. I said I'm gonna do 60 days. let's do 60 days and let's get it done. And so I
Mhm.
use that to be transparent with my followers or whoever listens to me. And just kind of say that, because sometimes we say we're going to do something, and in the midst of that journey, we kind of like, oh,
Yeah, yeah, it happens for sure.
it does. And then we have to remind ourselves of, why did you do this?
Hmm.
You're not just doing this just for you, but you're doing this to help other people. And
Yes,
that speaks volumes. It does.
it really does. It really does.
It really does. And yet yesterday, I haven't done mine for today, but yesterday I was just driving to work. I had to go to work. And I just said, oh, you know what? I'm so happy for this gift of life. And I said, oh, wait, there it is. And I said, let me
Hmm.
record myself real quick. So, yeah. So sometimes it just comes to you when you do that self care. You can really, it just opens up the vessel of your mind
Yes.
to be
Yeah.
able to receive things a lot differently than what you're accustomed to. I put it like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because sometimes just changing your perspective changes the situation because it changes how you see it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Situation may not change, but if your perspective is different, you see it different, so you respond different.
Ah,
So yeah.
I like that. Wait, say that one more time for somebody that may have missed it. Say it one more time. I'm gonna be
Well,
quick.
look, do I remember what I said? Sometimes if you change your perspective about the situation, it may not change, but how you see it will change, and that'll change your response.
Mm, that's it right there. Now, look, you guys have received so many, what the young folks say, gems, jewels, stones, whatever they call. You have received so much knowledge. And I just hope that it's been received. And if you need to go back and push this on replay or save it on my social media to go back and hear it later, I encourage you to do so. Definitely encourage you to do so. So, with this Tishley, she has so many different adjectives with being a motivator, a preacher, an author, a business owner times what, one, two, and three. You never know. You never know.
Right.
But I encourage you to go and follow her on social media. She has website, so follow her jewelry website, and she's going to say that name, eccentric
Bijouterie.
jewelry. I don't know
And
why. I would want to say bonjour. Where is that coming from? Bonjour.
okay, that's fancy too.
Right. That's
No, but
cute.
it's
That's not this. Okay. Okay, bijouterie. All right. So
yeah,
follow her at eccentric bijouterie. And is it, wait, shop.com is the
yeah,
website.
that's the website.
Okay.
And then my my personal website is just my name, tishleyjanine.com. But we do a lot of inspirational posts on my business Facebook, which is Tishley Janeene Inspires.
Okay.
So that's kind of the motivational page that I use a lot. I go live on there whenever I can. Um, and so yeah, the jewelry has a Facebook page as well, Eccentric Bijouterie Boutique, and
Hmm.
the jewelry is also on Instagram, eccentric underscore bijouterie.
Okay. You guys have all of her social media contact, and I'm going to post this on social media as well, so that way you can kind of go and go back and follow through. But make sure you support. Don't forget to order her book. We talked about that at the beginning. If you missed it, don't forget
Mhm.
to order her book. He left, but I live.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry,
Yeah.
got excited. But it's on her website and it's also on Amazon. So
Hmm.
go and order that book. Support a small business. I
Yeah.
always talk about that. Support a small business. I know we go to Target, and Walmart and all these other stores, but We need to reach back and support our small businesses. They are
Yeah.
out here doing phenomenal work and they need our support just like these other people do. So I encourage you to go and shop. Okay. Go and shop, support, like, share, follow, tell people about her organization, all three of them, and the business, and just be a blessing to somebody. Be a
Yeah.
blessing to somebody. So before we go,
Hmm.
Miss Tishley, because I know your time is precious. This is towards the end of 2022. And so we're getting
Hmm.
ready to jump into a whole new year of 2023. What encouraging words or motivation or whatever, what do you have on your heart that you want to empower someone for the new year?
Um, I just made a post on my personal page a little bit ago about being unapologetic about who you are, being your authentic self, and that being okay. Not needing outside validation to feel okay about you, not needing people to applaud what you're doing to keep doing it. Um, whatever is in you to do, you've got to be 100% confident and sure of yourself, which means you got to be your authentic self. So, the more you know about you, the more time you take to heal the broken parts of you, the more time you take to nurture the wonderful parts of you, the more authentic you can be, and the less validation you'll need from anywhere else.
Mm, mm. Look, I'm ready for the new year. Happy New Year! Happy New Year. That's listen. I love that. I love that. I think I'm if it's okay, may I just use your quote if I can use all of what you said and make it as a post. Let me
Yeah,
ask for permission. Okay.
absolutely.
I love that because we go through these resolutions and all this other stuff. But just be you. I
Yeah,
love that. Be your
yeah,
authentic.
yeah.
Thank you. You have blessed my soul and my spirit.
Thank
Just in
you.
your
I was
just
so humbled to for the invitation. Thank you so much for even thinking of me to be a part of this. This is amazing. I love this platform.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to join on Surety
Absolutely.
Tuesdays. And everyone, just remember, regardless of what you're going through, I always tell you to be intentional, be insightful, and definitely be impactful in everything that you do. I appreciate you following Surety Tuesdays on the podcast and also Surety with V on all the social media. I talked about last week how it has evolved, and we're just going to continue to keep this train rolling. Okay. And I hope that you continue to join me. And thank you for following me. Whatever you do to end out 2022, stay blessed. And I hope that I'll hear from you or I'll see you next week on Shredded Tea Tuesdays. All right, guys. Have a good one. Bye bye.
Telling me to dance, taking a